So guys, we got another doozy of a story here, and this is coming fresh out of the great city of Atlanta. Now guys, I talk a lot about dating in Atlanta and a lot of the suspect stuff that goes on, which was a stereotype for Atlanta, but this story right here is something crazy. And after seeing the story, I did my own research and realizing that there is actually a thing in this area in Atlanta, and it's probably other areas as well, called cruising locations or cruising parks. And this is a very controversial issue, being that the place where it took place in Sykes Park here in East Point, Georgia. People are having some things to say, being that the police department is posting these guys photos of what went down and what goes down in these parks. And y'all may have heard some stuff about this going on in Piedmont Park there in Atlanta as well. But we're going to jump into this whole situation of these guys meeting up and having these cheek clapping parties at this park and see what's going on here. Let's go.
Sting operations underway at an East Point park.
I'm not going to lie, this story shocked me. Right now, parents say they can't even take their kids to the park because they're scared of what they might see.
11 Alive's Don White is at Skies Park tonight with a message from concerned neighbors and also police.
East Point police say what's going on here at this park is causing them to get hundreds of complaints a month from residents, and many of those residents have shown up to city council meetings to voice their concerns. Napoleon Black used to love walking his dogs at Sykes Park until...
You're talking 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 2 p.m., 11 p.m., and that's not what we want in this park.
What he doesn't want is people allegedly having sex during broad daylight on tables, in the woods, and throughout Sykes Park in front of children, according to police.
I wouldn't send my wife, I wouldn't send my kids, I wouldn't send any minors over into that park at night, or during the day for that matter, unless I was with them, like a hawk.
Now police say they've started sex stings in the park, catching people in the act. Many are not even from Georgia.
We've been setting up surveillance in the area, but also the use of social media and some of the sites that they use for meetups. We've been monitoring those as well.
East Point Police Sergeant Jay Watkins says almost 24 people have been charged with public indecency over the past few months.
That's my major concern is for the kids. They don't need to see this kind of stuff in public at all, as it's already shown enough on TV.
Napoleon has a strong message for the people, making him feel uncomfortable going into the park.
In a public park, there's a certain behavior you should maintain. Would you want your family to see you behaving like this in a park?
We're not going to tolerate such acts in our city with the youth that are there trying to play and have fun and disrupt family lives.
Police say if you see lewd activity here, you should call 911 right away.
Now, many people are calling this that police are doing as anti-gay and homophobic, being that they're trying to arrest gay or bisexual men doing this, and saying that they're doing stings and stuff like that. They're like, why do you have to do stings? That means that you're targeting these men. What I find interesting is that you have, as Napoleon Black said, he mentioned several different times, you're out walking your dogs and you out there strolling, and next thing you hear is, and then you look, and then you see something going on at a table in broad daylight in front of kids. Hundreds of complaints. This is what's going on. And as that police officer said there are actually sites. I just went to look it up real quick. There are actually sites of this stuff going on out here where you meet up spots and things like that. And this Sykes Park is just one of them. Piedmont was another one that you guys may be aware of, Piedmont Park there in Atlanta. And if you guys remember back in 2017, there was Sheriff Jeffrey Mann of DeKalb County. He had to ultimately resign from the situation because he was caught by an officer in uniform. He was caught whacking off in this park. He actually walked up to the officer in uniform while he was whacking off, and the officer flashed the light in his face, and he realized that it was an officer, and he took off running. This officer chased after him. This is a 54-year-old man at the time, back in 2017, by the way. This 54-year-old man took off running. I don't know if he was in uniform or not running, but he was whacking off. I guess he put the little man back away and just started hauling ass. He's running. This cop chased him down for a quarter of a mile, arrested him, and he was charged. And you hear him talk about it right here, the whole situation.
County Sheriff Jeffrey Mann spoke publicly today for the first time since his arrest in May.
He pleaded guilty to charges of obstruction and prohibited conduct after police say he exposed himself to an Atlanta police officer at Piedmont Park. Mann was sentenced to pay fines and serve 80 hours of community service. Well, then he returned to work after completing a 40-day suspension. Today, Mann had this to say to county residents who still have some questions about his arrest.
I pled to an Atlanta municipal ordinance violation last year. It's not a criminal offense in this state or in most states. It's not a crime. I think I should be judged not by one error or one lapse of judgment, but what I've done as sheriff for the last 4 years.
In February, the Peace Officer Standards and Training Council denied Sheriff Mann's appeal to keep his law enforcement certification. Mann says he will continue fighting and plans to take his case before an administrative law judge, which could be a lengthy process.
So he tried to minimize the situation. You're a sheriff, right? In my hometown, a sheriff was doing all types of crazy stuff. You're upheld to a certain standard. So you're like, it's not a criminal offense, a citation, whatever you want to call it. But bro, you were whacking off in a cruising park and then you walked up to another man in decent exposure and all these other things. Some people can call that an SA also by what you did. And you're trying to fight it. He actually, I guess what ended up happening, he lost his peace officer certification and he was trying to get it back and basically it wasn't happening. So he just went ahead and retired, which is what everybody was telling him to do. Go ahead and step down, bro. You know what happened, things like that. So in that previous case back to East Point, what I was saying was people were like, if you have to do a sting and you have to cover up and hide that you're a police officer, that means you're just out to bust gay men or bisexual men. And the fact that you posted these guys' pictures on Facebook and social media trying to embarrass them says something else. And there was 5 guys, if I'm not mistaken, that they posted the pictures and they actually issued an apology after the backlash came about them trying to out these guys on social media for being caught. I'm gonna go ahead and read the post here and you guys will see it on the screen. The East Point Police Department would like to highlight the arrest of 5 suspects who believe that inappropriate illicit activity should be conducted in one of our most popular parks. We will continue to highlight these arrests as we continue to conduct sting operations. Please say hello to Trevor Brown, Malik Cleet, Vincent Bell, James Davis, and Christopher Davis. They were charged with public indecency and loitering for prohibited behavior. Now, I don't even want to say, because I'm assuming there's a lot of voyeurism involved in this as well. But there's a term for it. I don't know what the other term for it is of doing these things in public in front of other people. But the fact that there were kids present or there are kids present and you just go out there any time of day, you should be charged for that. You can't get in a car, you can't meet up, and then you want to blame it on people saying they're trying to be anti such and such. Man, listen, when I was looking at these things and hearing it, it brings me to the conversation I had with the lesbian homie, the lesbro as she calls it. And she was just saying, imagine a society, and I've talked about this before in other videos, imagine a society where everyone had testosterone. What I mean by that is if women had the same sex drive as men. This is exactly what would be happening for those who can't control themselves. For a lot of people, it would be a lot more frequent and rampant going on. But the fact that these men are doing this in public at these parks, they got cruising locations for guys to just get down to it, man, there's no respect, it's disrespectful. And they should be charged for stuff like this. Get yourself a room, bro. Get yourself a room. They have to invest this money, these man hours to stop this instead of, I don't agree with stings and stuff like that, but you can have patrols for these certain locations that this type of activity is going on. There was a movie, which I'm pretty sure somebody will comment on it, where they pull up to a rest stop. I think some people were pulling up to a rest stop or whatever. And when they pull up to the rest stop, that's all you seen going on at the rest stop on the highway. Like they were just popping out, just, hey, get your own spot or something like that. But this is crazy, man. I'm pretty sure it's more than Atlanta, but Atlanta is a haven for this type of behavior, this type of debauchery that some people will view it as. Man, I don't know. I'm done talking. Let me know what you guys think about this story. Comment below. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit me up on Linktree to book a one-on-one with yours truly. Purchase all my books, merch, t-shirts. It helps to support the channel. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. With that being said, much blessings and abundance. Stick around for the next video that's going to pop up on the screen below. Listen, it's your favorite everything. This is Wisdom. I'm the best. I'm out of here. Peace.
Finesse.